It's time to review an X-Men movie. So let's see what the critics have to say. Actually, quite interested in that. I said I wanted this with sugar. Oh shit. There we go. They botched it. They botched it again. They botched the Dark Phoenix storyline twice now. I literally went out of my way to go to the cinema on a public holiday, which means I ended up with the shitty front row seats. And it doesn't matter though, because it's an X-Men movie and that's how hyped I was. I really didn't care if I was getting the shittiest seat in the cinema. I wanted to watch it on the first showing on the first day. I will gladly snap my neck just to look up 90 degrees for the entire runtime of 2 hours just so I can squeeze myself onto the first showing. That's how much I was looking forward to this movie. I am genuinely embarrassed to be an X-Men fan right now because I'll admit, I was probably the 0.1% of the entire population of this planet that was hopeful that this film could at least be decent. I mean, should I really be upset by how bad this film is? I mean, it did only undergo many reshoots and it was constantly pushed back. It was supposed to be released last year and I really don't know what I was expecting. I mean, it's never a good sign when a film undergoes a ton of reshoots. X-Men Dark Phoenix is one of the worst superhero films I've seen in a while. And, you know, as much as I didn't like Captain Marvel, I'll admit, I'd rather watch Captain Marvel than Dark Phoenix. That's how bad it is. For the first time in a very long time, I agree with the critics on Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, the last time I checked it, it was at a whopping 15%, which is actually not a surprise to me because the way this film was constructed, it was pretty much done by 5-year-olds with no experience whatsoever. You know, I did an in-depth 40-minute review of X-Men Apocalypse a couple weeks back, and I pointed out all the flaws that was present in that movie, but at the end of it, I did mention it was a film that was filled with potential and you could watch it and still be entertained and have fun. But I really cannot say the same about Dark Phoenix. Guys, what happened to good movies? I mean, I've recently watched a lot of shit in cinemas and I really don't want to be that old ass guy that's always up your ass about, you know, how things in the past are always better. But when it comes to movies, it's true. It's so evident that this franchise, alongside many other franchises, the one that's most glaring is of course Star Wars, that everything in the past is so much more better than what it is today. For God's sake, have you seen the new Terminator trailer? I almost puked because it's so bloody bad. I mean, have you seen the CG? It looks like it's from a freaking story mode on PS2. It's atrocious. It's just done for the SJWs. They want their woke points. Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, you've given them your woke points. Let's see your franchise fail because it will fail. And don't even get me started on that new Batwoman trailer. One of the worst trailers I've seen on YouTube, and it deserves all the hate, all the dislike it's getting, because what are they doing? What is Hollywood doing with superheroes? Dark Phoenix was not directed by Bryan Singer, and every time this happens, it is always a disaster. Do you guys see the pattern here? X-Men The Last Stand, garbage. X-Men Origins, absolutely atrocious. And now Dark Phoenix, an absolutely extravagant chaos. Yep, that's right, I'm calling this an extravagant chaos, and I'm going to explain a little later on why I chose to call it that. If you're looking for mindless entertainment with spectacular visuals, CGI, extravaganza, and decently put together action sequences, then this movie is for you, I guess. But for the rest of you, I beg you, please stay far away from Dark Phoenix. This is without a doubt one of the worst storylines, if not the worst storyline in the X-Men franchise. Is it as bad as Origins? Yes. Yes, it is. Throughout this movie, characters make really grounded and important decisions, and then 23 seconds later, they just take it back and go to an entirely new route because the plot told them to do so. All those reshoots are bloody obvious because some scenes really felt like they were just shoehorned in, and I really don't know if there maybe wasn't enough action sequences, or maybe Fox Studios told them that the runtime wasn't long enough, and it's just a mess. One big bloated mess. Simon Kinberg, who directed this movie and wrote it as well, he did the impossible. He made me feel like superhero movie fatigue is something real. And I'm genuinely sad to say that I actually felt fatigue as I was watching this film. Don't even get me started on Jessica Chastain as the villain, because if you thought Apocalypse was bad, oh no, he ain't got nothing on Jessica Chastain's character. Nothing. She is atrocious. One of the worst villains in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe, or should I say X-Men Cinematic Universe. I don't even remember her name. That's how disposable this character is. Alright, so I'm not going to spoil anything, right? But there was a very impactful and I guess supposed to be emotional scene that was, injected into this film. But the way it was executed, the way it was rushed, I didn't feel anything. I just didn't care. So the only thing that really works here is the visuals, as I mentioned before. And that's pretty much the only thing that's, stayed consistent throughout this franchise since the year 2000, other than X-Men Origins. Boy, that was a disaster. But yeah, the visuals. And besides that, you're really not going to get anything out of this. When it comes to the X-Men films, in my opinion, the characters aided by these fantastic actors are the reason why these superhero movies are taken to a whole new level. But if you are new to this franchise, the paper thin and bland characters that are portrayed in Dark Phoenix are not going to do you any favors to convince you to stick around for the sequels. The magic is gone, guys. It's really depressing that another great franchise has steered to the dark side. If you love your fair share of woke points, then you're gonna enjoy this. You're gonna go on Twitter and start preaching about how great this film is. But to the rest of us who are genuine fans since the year 2000, that have constantly supported Fox Studios product and their movies and their merchandise, X-Men is done. It is done. So do you guys remember the final 10 minutes of Wonder Woman? Yeah, that huge CGI action scene. Take that plus the last half of Captain Marvel, squish them in with mutants, and there you go. Dark Phoenix in a nutshell. Yeah, so what I'm really trying to say is X-Men Dark Phoenix is just one big bloated visual-tastic CGI fest with colorful effects of action set pieces put together with mutants. And yeah, if you like that, then go ahead and watch it, I guess. Yeah, it's nice to look at, but once you fully process it, you will come to terms that it is terrible. So with all that being said, I'm gonna give Dark Phoenix a D+. Do yourselves a favor, do not go out and watch this atrocity, right? Don't give a single cent to Fox Studios, because you are paying your hard-earned money, but at the end of the day, they give us this absolute horseshit. Please, I'm begging you, do not watch this movie. I'm gonna let you in on something. Fox Studios is one of the greediest movie companies out there. They tried to block my review of X-Men Apocalypse over 10 times just so they can make a few cents off of me. Yeah, I can really see why you guys are scraping every ounce of dough that YouTubers have earned from their revenue and using that to aid you with your loss from Dark Phoenix. I know it's gonna bomb. It's an utter atrocity, and you guys are abusing the copyright system, whereas these YouTubers are out here doing everything they can to abide by the copyright system, and you are out here scraping their hard-earned revenue. You should be ashamed of yourself, Fox Studios. You should be absolutely ashamed. Ah, man, I have not been this pissed in a very long time. But anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching, and to my Muslim friends and viewers, Selamat Hari Raya. And to the rest of you, have a great holiday. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.